This is an audio summary of The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, chapter by chapter. Please check the description for chapter selection. This audio summary is brought to you by Swag Bucks. Earn $10 towards any gift card when you sign up with the QR code or link in the description below. Use Swag Bucks to earn Swag Bucks to get more gift cards for you, your friends, and your family. In fact, you can earn Swag Bucks while you listen to this audio summary. Be sure to check it out. Also check the description for a link to Amazon to buy the full book. Chapter 1. In the opening chapter, we are introduced to Holden Caulfield, a troubled 16-year-old boy who has been expelled from his prestigious boarding school, Pensy Prep. Holden, our narrator, immediately reveals his cynical and critical nature, expressing his contempt for phonies and his disillusionment with the adult world. He provides a glimpse into his current circumstances, sharing that he is recounting his experiences from a mental health facility. Chapter 2. Holden delves into his past experiences at Pensy Prep, a place where he struggled to form genuine connections and felt detached from his peers. He specifically focuses on his roommate Stradlater, a seemingly popular boy who lacks sincerity in his relationships. Holden also reflects on his deceased younger brother Ali, who he deeply misses, and his older brother DB, who has pursued a writing career in Hollywood. Chapter 3. Before leaving Pensy Prep for good, Holden has a meeting with his history teacher, Mr. Spencer. During their conversation, Mr. Spencer attempts to offer some guidance and wisdom to Holden, but our protagonist remains disinterested and disconnected, unable to find solace in the words of his elder. With a sense of detachment and frustration, Holden bids farewell to the school and embarks on a journey to New York City. Chapter 4. Now in New York City, Holden checks into a rundown hotel and reflects on his acute loneliness and loss of innocence. He recalls a painful memory involving his childhood friend Jane Gallagher and her abusive stepfather, which further adds to his feelings of alienation and disillusionment. Chapter 5. Holden experiences a restless night in the hotel and in a moment of desperation decides to hire a prostitute named Sunny. However, when Sunny arrives, Holden's inability to engage in any sexual activity becomes evident, and he ends up paying her without having any intimate encounter. This encounter leaves Holden even more despondent and desperate for genuine connection and understanding. Chapter 6. Eager to distract himself, Holden ventures out into the bustling streets of New York City. He finds himself in a jazz club, feeling out of place and unable to appreciate the music. Seeking some semblance of companionship, Holden reaches out to an old girlfriend, Sally Hayes, and they arrange to meet. Before their encounter, Holden visits the Museum of Natural History, where he muses on the idea of preserving innocence in a world he sees as corrupt. Chapter 7. Holden meets Sally at a theater and they go ice skating together. However, as they engage in conversation, Holden becomes increasingly frustrated with Sally's conformist mindset and her aspirations for a conventional future. His dissatisfaction with the superficiality of their interaction leads him to abruptly end their date, further intensifying his feelings of alienation and isolation. Chapter 8. Holden pays a visit to his younger sister Phoebe at her school. They engage in a heartfelt conversation, discussing various topics such as Phoebe's school life, Holden's expulsion from Pensy, and his desire to escape society's expectations. Phoebe challenges Holden's pessimistic worldview, questioning his decision to run away from his problems. Their exchange highlights the importance of familial bonds and the potential for hope and understanding within them. Chapter 9. Holden spends the day wandering aimlessly around New York City, reflecting on his past and grappling with his own emotional turmoil. He recalls encounters with former classmates and acquaintances, shedding light on the complexities of human relationships. As the chapter concludes, Holden finds himself in a state of emotional turmoil, yearning for authenticity and connection in a world he perceives as phony. Chapter 10. Holden visits his old English teacher, Mr. Antolini, seeking guidance and solace. Mr. Antolini welcomes him into his home and offers him words of wisdom about the importance of education and the need for genuine care and concern for others. However, during the night, Holden awakens to find Mr. Antolini stroking his head, which unsettles him deeply. Holden, overwhelmed by paranoia and suspicion, decides to leave abruptly, questioning the authenticity of those he once trusted. Chapter 11. Holden spends a sleepless night wandering the streets of New York City, Grappling with his inner turmoil, he contemplates his future and the uncertainty that lies ahead. Despite his longing for connection and understanding, he finds it increasingly difficult to trust others and navigate the complexities of adult life. Holden's mental state becomes more precarious as he becomes overwhelmed by feelings of loneliness and desperation. Chapter 12. Seeking a temporary escape from his thoughts, Holden decides to visit his little sister Phoebe at her school once again. Their encounter brings both joy and frustration as Phoebe challenges Holden's negative outlook on life, urging him to find meaning and purpose in the world. Holden realizes that he cannot protect Phoebe from the harsh realities he perceives, but he cherishes the innocence and purity she represents. Chapter 13. Holden's fragile mental state becomes more apparent as he continues to struggle with his emotions and thoughts. He reaches a breaking point, feeling deeply isolated and misunderstood. Desperate for some form of solace, he contemplates running away to a cabin in the countryside, where he imagines a simpler and more genuine way of life. However, Holden is ultimately torn between his desire to escape and his realization that he cannot evade the complexities of the world indefinitely. Chapter 14. As Holden reaches a critical moment of introspection, he decides against running away and instead seeks out his younger sister Phoebe. They meet at a carousel in a park, and as Holden watches Phoebe go round and round, he experiences a moment of clarity and understanding. He recognizes the importance of embracing the fleeting beauty and innocence of childhood, as well as the need to face the challenges and uncertainties of adulthood. Chapter 15. The final chapter of the book serves as an epilogue, revealing that Holden has made progress in his recovery. He recounts his experiences in therapy and expresses a glimmer of hope for the future. While his journey has been marked by despair and alienation, Holden acknowledges the resilience of the human spirit and the potential for growth and redemption. Summary of the book: The Catcher in the Rye follows the story of Holden Caulfield, a disillusioned teenager struggling with the complexities of adolescence and the phoniness of the adult world. Through Holden's narration, we witness his journey of self-discovery as he grapples with loneliness, loss, and a yearning for authenticity in a society he perceives as artificial. The novel explores themes of innocence, identity, and the disillusionment that often accompanies the transition into adulthood. Holden's quest for meaning and connection ultimately leads him to confront his own inner demons and find a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. Importance in society and culture. The Catcher in the Rye holds significant importance in society and culture due to its timeless exploration of the challenges and complexities of adolescence. It resonates with readers of all generations, as it touches upon universal themes such as the loss of innocence, the search for identity, and the struggle to find one's place in the world. The novel has sparked discussions about mental health, authenticity, and the impact of societal expectations on individuals. Its honest and raw portrayal of teenage angst and disillusionment has solidified its place as a classic in American literature, influencing subsequent generations of writers and leaving an indelible mark on popular culture.